Here's another hand from a robot tournament. I opened 1 no trump, and North's 2 heart bid was a Jacoby transfer to spades, which I completed. North then bid a natural 3 clubs, showing a 2-suited hand with game-forcing strength. Some folks will prefer to go to 4 spades, given the major suit fit. But with such a flat hand and stoppers in the unbid suits, I didn't expect to ruff anything, so we would take the same number of tricks in a spade contract as in a no-trump contract. And no-trump scores better, especially at match points. So I signed off in 3 no-trump. West led the 3 of hearts. You're welcome to pause the video and make a plan here, but I'm going to play the first 3 tricks and then ask you to pause the video again to make the rest of the plan. East goes up with the queen and I win the ace. I think our best source of tricks is to develop spades, so I lead the queen and East takes their ace. East switches to a diamond and I split my honors. West takes the ace as I discard a club from the dummy. West then switches back to a heart. Pause the video now and plan the rest of the play. And now that you've got a plan and have unpaused the video again, we'll continue. We've got 9 top tricks, 4 spades, 3 hearts, and 2 clubs. We can't get any additional tricks in spades or hearts, and there aren't any obvious ways to get an extra trick in diamonds. We started with an 8-card club fit, and maybe there's something we can do with that. Finessing the 10 isn't going to work. Even if West has Queen Jack third, they can just split their honors, and we'll eventually have a club loser. If either opponent has the Queen Jack doubleton, we can play for the drop and run the clubs, but that's pretty unlikely. If East has a singleton club honor, we can cash the King of clubs to drop it, and then finesse West for the other honor. But again, that's pretty unlikely. We've got all but 1 trick in the bag already, so we should at least consider a squeeze play since we've already satisfied condition L. Let's look for threat cards. We have no losers in the major suits, so there are no threats there. The Queen of Diamonds is a good threat card, guarded only by the King. The opponents have 5 clubs between them, so no matter how the suit divides, only one opponent has 3 or more clubs. That means that the 3rd club is a threat, guarded only by the opponent with longer clubs. And that 3rd club could be in either of our hands. The 6 is just as much a threat as the 10 is. Let's check blue. We've already observed that condition L is satisfied. For condition B, we will hope that one opponent is busy, meaning that the opponent with longer clubs also has the King of Diamonds. That sounds more likely than hoping for an opponent to have the doubleton Queen Jack of clubs, or hoping that East has a singleton club honor. For condition E, we don't have entries to either hand in diamonds, but we've got entries to both of them in clubs. Which entry to use depends on where the squeeze card will be. Perhaps it'll be a spade in the dummy, in which case we'd need to run the hearts in our hand first as a Vienna coup. Or perhaps the squeeze card will be a heart in our hand, in which case we'd need to run the spades in dummy as the Vienna coup. Either of those squeeze cards will work so far because either one will be able to satisfy condition E with a club entry to the other hand. Finally, for condition U, the diamond threat is upper of East. It would be nice to have a threat that is upper of West, too, so I think the club threat should be the 10 rather than the 6. If the squeeze card was a heart in our hand so that the club entry was in the hand with the club threat, we could avoid the UE exception and all would be well. If, instead, the squeeze card was a spade in the dummy, we'd have to deal with the UE exception because the entry is in clubs, but the club threat is in the hand with the squeeze card. But we've also got the exception to the UE exception. We've got a second entry back to the hand with the squeeze card, also in clubs, and so that threat could count for condition U after all. So, regardless of where the squeeze card is, we can satisfy condition U against both opponents. The entry will be in clubs in either case, so the threat suit without the entry is diamonds, and the guard card to watch for is the king of diamonds. If that is discarded, we can claim, and otherwise we'll try running the clubs. So there are two ways to play this squeeze, which end up in the same two-card ending. I'm going to go through one of them, and then back up to this trick again and go through the other. For the first approach, we could say that the squeeze card will be a heart in our hand. We'll win this trick and run the spades in the dummy as a Vienna coup, discarding a diamond and a club from our hand. We can then get back to our hand in clubs and run the hearts, discarding a club from dummy. The last heart is the squeeze card. If the queen of diamonds is good, we can claim, and otherwise we'll try running the clubs. When I played this hand, though, I decided to take the second approach, because I don't get as much practice with the exception to the UE exception. So I said that the squeeze card will be a spade in dummy. We'll run the hearts as the Vienna coup, discarding a club from dummy. Then we'll run the spades, discarding a diamond and a club from our hand. The last spade is the squeeze card. We can then play a club to our hand to arrive at the same two-card ending as the first approach. If the queen of diamonds was a winner, we could claim, but no one has discarded the king yet. So instead, we'll try running the clubs. And when the last one is good, we'll take 11 tricks. Backing up 4 tricks and revealing the opponent's hands, you can see that East was squeezed. If they discard the diamond, we can claim, and otherwise they must let us run the clubs. And that's a real-world example of a squeeze that uses the exception to the UE exception. I remember that when I first read about the exception to the exception, my head swam because there was so much jargon to deal with. But with practice, these patterns are easy to spot, and hopefully you'll find that squeeze plays are becoming more straightforward as this video series continues.